Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to KOT Kia 3's Christmas stream. And what better way to do it? KOT with a three-man weave. Got my guy Gabe to my side and my guy John below me. How's it going, guys?
Man, it's going good. Ready to celebrate some Christmas. Definitely excited to do our little segment today, man. I think it's going to be a fun one.
Merry Christmas, man. Merry Christmas to everybody out there, man. We gotta, it's Tuesday. It's really Friday because I hope you're off tomorrow. If your job got you working tomorrow, tell them that KOT told them for you not to go in.
It's true
because we're not doing that, man. So today should actually be Friday. But anyway, It's good to be here with my two brothers talking basketball. Merry Christmas to everybody, man.
KOT permission slip to get out of work tomorrow. That's how it works, you know.
That's our.
Is crazy.
Hey, today we're gonna be Santa Claus giving out gifts. So I mean, what better gift to give than one day off work?
Right? Come on, man.
And we're getting gifts already. Shout out, we got Quazim already in the chat. One of our frequent viewers. We love to see it. But let's get right into it. I think that we're going to have a lot of stuff we're going to be talking about here. Now, I guess I should preface, first of all, what is this gift special stream going to be? As in, we're going to be talking about whether it's current players, whether it's former players, whether it's current teams, the league as a whole, coaches. It could be anything. And our mindset is to give gifts as if something that they need, something that we want them to have moving forward. It could be something with their game. It could be something not even related to their game, just something about them in general. But I want to leave the floor to you guys first, and either you guys could start off. What's like the first gift you're going to hand out here?
All right. I'll start off with something basic because I feel like this is a good place to start, very baseline. But my first gift is for the New Orleans Pelicans. And if I'm Santa Claus, I'm going to have some mercy, and I'm going to give them their pick back. Because as we know, they're very bad this season. They traded that pick away, and now it's like, dang, we're bad and we're not getting anything from it. So I thought, what a better way to start off our Christmas and the season of giving than to say, hey, I know you guys really messed up here, but you can have your pick back. We'll let you be bad and we'll let you get something from it.
That's not a bad one at all. They need it.
They need it. Okay. All right. Honestly, I'm gonna roll with one that y'all know I gotta at least start Lakers. I'll go elsewhere. I'll go elsewhere eventually, but I gotta start with Lakers. I'm gonna go with one that I feel like most people wouldn't say, but as Santa, I'm trying to come down Dalton Connect's chimney and instill some confidence in his neck. Okay, that is crazy.
Yo,
that one was crazy.
The lead up to that, I don't know if that was a pause. That was just the lead up to that was insane. I can't lie.
That one was crazy. That one was crazy. I'm just trying to find where Dalton Connect lives. Come down.
Whoa,
it's getting crazier.
That's actually crazy.
I want to find where he lives.
Santa John, he's going crazy, man.
So I go down his chimney because that's how it works.
That's
All
true.
right. Anyway, y'all get what I'm saying, right? So listen, and I want to give that man some confidence. He needs some confidence in his game, man. He needs some confidence in his game. He's one of those guys. Yeah, see, I'm never gonna be able to live this one down.
Sorry. It's just the what?
Come on, man.
Oh my gosh.
Come on, y'all. Y'all know what I meant, man. I meant like Santa. I'm trying to do what Santa do. Because if we want to get real, Santa done came down every single one of our chimneys before.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
I just want to say that. So we could say pause, but Santa.
Clip that.
No, please don't do that. Please don't do that one.
Anyway, find where Dalton Connect lives. I'm sorry, we keep cutting you off.
No, you good, brother. Yeah, we need to give Dalton Connect some confidence, man. He don't even look like he believes in himself out there, and I think he could be a good player in this league. He just got to put it together and start playing a little bit of defense. But the offense is there though. But one thing I'll tell you though, if you don't believe in yourself, never finna be anything, especially in the NBA. Other team not gonna believe in somebody that don't believe in themselves. Ben Simmons. That's how they was doing Ben Simmons.
Exactly.
Hey, I mean, with that said, though, do you want him to get his confidence up so you can trade him later? Because I mean, the Lakers did already, trade him, and then it got rescinded. Or do you actually want him to be a long-term piece for your team?
I'm gonna be honest. That was actual, just genuine generosity out of me, and looking for him as a player development. Now, granted,
okay.
I am 100% willing to trade Dawson Connect and anybody else along, except Luka Doncic, to be honest with you, to do what it takes.
Trade AR?
To do what it takes, absolutely, for a right piece. Like I know, the talks was like it would probably take AR to get a Giannis. I would do that. I would do that. Absolutely.
Would you trade LeBron?
I would, but now we're talking things that are unrealistic. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no team is gonna trade away a superstar for a 41-year-old aging man.
You're just that would just rip both halves of his heart right there, like the LeBron half and the Laker half.
Hey, look, guys,
I want to see that.
Listen, the Lakers, I have been a Lakers fan since before I could before I could walk. I have a Lakers hat. I have a picture of me in the Lakers game when I was like 1 year old. The Lakers hat rocking, right? And Kobe was my guy. And as y'all know, back in the day, if you were a Kobe guy, you could not be a LeBron guy. And if you're a LeBron guy, you couldn't be a Kobe guy. And I did not like LeBron because I liked Kobe, right? Once Kobe retired, I started really really like LeBron's second stint around in Cleveland. I was like, man, like I gotta stop hating. Like, and this guy's really good. And then all of a sudden he came to my favorite team. I was like, oh, man, it just worked out. And you know what the crazy thing is? And it's the last thing I'll say. I'm rambling, y'all. Last thing I'll say right here. Right after that, Luka Doncic. When he came into the league, he was my second favorite player. It's funny because the biggest two whiners in the league are my two biggest favorite players in the league, right? I'll go to my office and grab it. I have a Luka Doncic Mavs jersey. Shout out my brother. He got that for me because I was such a big Luka fan. And then he came to my favorite team. I'm like, man, the Lord is looking out.
Man, man. Life is tough as a Lakers fan, bro. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, life is tough. Only everybody. Before I give mine, why don't I start out with my first gift? I'm gonna give to Quazim. I think I'm gonna give him a whole sack of ice cubes because you need to chill out with this take, man. Like, what is this?
Okay,
this is not. No, stop.
So are we not gonna pause giving him a whole sack?
I'm giving him a whole sack, and for every comment like that, he'll get an extra sack. We're gonna be on.
That's a timeout. That's a timeout. You said you gave him a whole
sack. What's crazy is I was gonna say we're gonna have a sack counter for the stream. That was gonna be the next thing I was gonna say. Anyways, why don't I give my first one here? I think this is one that I'm gonna do. Shout out for our guy Jay, who couldn't be here today, but Klay Thompson, I'm gonna give him a dasher pass. I think he can start doing DoorDash as soon as tomorrow.
Oh, come on.
It's just it's time to hang up the sneaks, as they say.
Bro.
Like, and it's not that, like, okay, yes, Klay might have a good game every now and then. Like, he had a really good one against the Clippers, but it's just not there anymore the same way it used to be. I feel like we're just seeing a guy at this point where outside of his shooting, if his shooting's not on, what's he really got going for him? Like, he's maybe still running off screens, but he's not losing anybody unless it's someone who's 36 years old, like the Clippers had on him. But he's not playing defense at an elite level. He's not an elite rebounder, not an elite playmaker for others. So Klay Thompson, you had a good run. What's that thing that they say in cars or whatever? Like, enjoy retirement or something.
Yeah,
like,
you had a great career, man.
Yeah, he's fading fast, and he just shows him like, no, everyone's passing by. That is Klay. Klay is Cars 3, Lightning McQueen.
I did actually have Klay Thompson on my list. I had a different gift for Mr. Thompson, actually.
Okay, what is it then?
So I think mine is a lot more realistic than yours. I think this is something that Clay actually, maybe that he's not going to get from Santa, but something that Clay, theoretically could get. And for Klay Thompson for this Christmas, I'm saying that we get Clay an engagement ring, okay? I know Clay got money, but I'm just saying we need to get Clay like the bougiest, like $10 million engagement ring. Because, brother, you got to lock that up. Did you see that Thanksgiving dinner? Did you see that? You got to lock that up, man. Come on. It's over. Every time I see it, I'm like, you know what? You have a good retirement, bro. you don't even need to be in the league anymore. But get that man. Like y'all see what Travis Kelce just did, man. Lock it down. That's generational wealth.
And
that is generational wealth.
Here, this should be the next goal for Clay, right here.
The engagement ring. The engagement ring.
Because nothing on the court is gonna be good from Clay anymore.
He had 4 rings. Let's get him a fifth ring. Okay.
Hey man. John, you got another, or you wanna?
I'm trying to think. Let me see. Where do I want to go here? Where do I want to go? Go ahead, Gabe. Go ahead. I'm trying to see where I want to go first.
Or you can go, Gabe, because you didn't really.
Or unless Gary wants to go, whatever.
I mean,
no, Gabe has a lot.
I actually did have some others that are in the Thompson family, no relation, but I actually I had a gift for the Thompson twins actually, and I think that this one is a little bit more on the court because I think that there's one thing that could take both Amen and Asar and turn them into some basketball demigods. And for Christmas, I'm giving them an experience, okay? Sometimes people give tangible items. I'm going to give them an experience, and that is one full off season with Steph Curry. Because if you can get the Thompson twins in the lab with Steph Curry and develop that jumper from the greatest ever, and they come into next season as some shooters, unstoppable. What are you gonna do? Either one of them. Like that's really a present for Cade, the whole Pistons. It's a present. The Rockets might go to the championship. That Steph is giving this gift to KD for a man. So this is just the gift that keeps on giving. I think the Thompson twins just need to lock in for one summer with Steph Curry, and they might be top 10 players.
I just want to add in here too another one I have, and then you can go next, John, if you want, because I did have on here Cade Cunningham and a reliable 3-pointer. Cade is already showing that he could maybe be a top 5 player at the end of the year in MVP voting. He'll probably be first team All-NBA if the Pistons stay up there as the number 1 seed. Definitely his best season by far, and he's helped make a guy like Duren probably an all-star this year. All those things are true, but also he's still shooting around 29-30% from 3. Like if he was shooting, even if we say like 37 or 38% from 3, we're looking at a guy who's also shooting around 44% from the field. That probably goes up to about 48% from the field. And now we're looking at a guy who's a taller point guard, can play defense, can play make, 48, 38, 84 splits, give or take maybe. Like that's pretty efficient for a point guard. And I also think just with that elevated shooting at a more efficient rate, that would also mean that it could limit his turnovers. So in that respect, I think it just helps out all around. The Pistons are already one of the best teams in the league, and offensively, they still have room to grow. But if he was shooting at that level as well, I think things would get real scary. Because we were talking about earlier this year, Gabe, like I think at the one point when we were talking about like Donovan Mitchell and Cade in the fourth quarter, you said at that point Cade was the leading scorer in the fourth quarter so far this season. I mean, if he had a 3-point shot like that as well, like it could even be higher. You know what I mean? Like I think that could take them to the next level. I think right now they have a chance to be that team in the East. We're still looking at some of those other teams in the West, like OKC and Denver and whatever. But if he had that, it would really spice things up.
I like that,
man. I mean, anytime you can add some shooting in the era like this, when spacing is everything, man, absolutely opens up your game. It opens up the floor for the rest of the team. To be honest with you, go ahead, Garrett. I know you got one you itching to say.
Pistons need that, man. Pistons they need that shooting. It like both of our maybe the whole Pistons squad just needs the offseason with Steph Curry, man. Let them get in the lab.
Yeah. Well, and that's what it reminded me of too. I just feel like they're, I think, like 20th or 19th at 3-point percentage this year or something. Like, it's not that high, and yet they're already still the second best record in the league.
Mhm.
Like, if that was up there, it'd be crazy. I'm just gonna show this real quick because just so you can get your stuff off. But that is a crazy choice. I'm not gonna lie. You said you wanted me to go, John, or you want to go?
No, I know you got one you really want to say.
Okay.
So go ahead and say. I'll go after you.
So this is probably the one I want to say the most on here. And I did kind of allude to it a little bit in my Baloney basketball episode I just dropped earlier today. It's not a current player. It's actually a former player. And I'm going to say it's revolving around my Chicago Bulls. Give Steve Nash Billy Donovan's job. And now hear me out, okay? Hear me out.
All right.
I think right now the Bulls, we're sitting at I think the last time I checked just the other day, second in pace in the league. And we're looking at a guy like Steve Nash, who, what was he most known for? The 7 seconds or less offense. So definitely a guy who could coach a system oriented around that offensively. Defensively, we're not like a bad team, but we're also not a great team. We're kind of like middle of the pack in there. But I also think that it's a team with an opportunity that has a lot of young guys that he can build around. And I mean, if you heard on like the Mind the Game podcast, I think like when Durant was on there and obviously like LeBron's on there too, they were talking about how, Steve Nash, maybe didn't get to fully showcase everything that he had up his sleeves with the Nets, because the Nets was really dysfunctional. It felt like from the start, as soon as even like, I think Kyrie said, like, we don't really need a coach before Nash even coached his first game. But also, like, this is a team, the Nets, who were a KD shoe size, maybe away from a championship. A lot of people say that. And those other years, it just felt like he was thrown into the fire of trying to be the team with the highest championship expectations on year one, which is crazy for any coach. And especially like a coach who, I mean, as much as I like Steve Nash, he never won a championship. I think he would have in 2007 if, Robert Horry didn't shove him. But that's besides the point. I think if you give him a job like the Chicago Bulls, he would help restore my faith in the team, because for one, he's definitely a better basketball mind than Billy Donovan. I think we can all agree on that. And not to mention, I think it's a team that plays to his strengths, and also there's nothing really to lose. And it's a situation where he can help develop talent. So all those things considered, that's my little pitch for why Steve Nash should coach the Chicago Bulls. Will he be the coach when we're eventually in our Michael Jordan or Derrick Rose era of contention? I don't know, but I think he's at least the coach we could have right now to develop this talent. And it, like I said, it's everything up his alley for what he was as a player too.
Steve Nash, that's a pull right there, bro. That's a pull right there. I haven't heard Steve Nash coaching since the Brooklyn Nets days, and I don't know if you heard on that same Mind the Game pod that they had like a fan mailbag episode, and they had asked Steve if he'd ever coach again, and he basically was like, hell nah, like, I don't think I could do that shit. But basically, he was like, he doesn't think he can do it. But so that, but I do think that, like, I understand what you're saying, like in theory, but that's a good pull though. I mean, Steve Nash, man.
I mean, the Bulls give a long leash. The Bulls, they give a long leash to people. I feel like just looking at Billy Donovan and the last few GM groups who, I mean, I don't know, they've been,
Fred Hoiberg, welcome. Jim Boylan overstayed his welcome. Even
Jim Boylan should have been fired like after like 10 games, man. He should have had that like Nate B tenure. He should have had like that Nate Bjorken tenure, man. Like not long.
That's crazy because honestly, like, those like all access or like the full access videos that the NBA drops on YouTube, like they did one on the Bulls, and I had seen and I was watching it, and I remember like just seeing Billy Donovan and thinking like, man, Garrett hates this guy. It's crazy how he's just got a team full of just NBA players just bought in, ready to go, and I'm like, wow, like crazy how. And I know it's just for the cameras, but I mean, all the players are, when they do their individual interview, Billy Donovan's just such a great basketball mind and stuff like that. But it's crazy how we could perceive it as not. But
Yeah, and even like the other day after a game, it was crazy because he was saying like, I want to see like Kobe White. He said in a post game, he's like, I want to see Kobe White, Patrick Williams, and Kevin Herter. Those are the 3 players he spotlighted, all shooting at 10 threes a game. And he's like, and I would be cool with that. And then meanwhile, like they interviewed Kobe White after the game, and he's like, yeah, I was doing it, but like my shot wasn't falling, and I wasn't really feeling it off my hand. It's just like, what kind of coach does that? Like, if even the player is having like self-doubt and he's like, just keep shooting it. Like, you know, you got to at least have like, you got to at least have that branch in between where it's like, hey, like, do you like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, you got to play like in the middle of the card right there. Like
he's instilling confidence, man. He's trying to get him to keep going. But yeah, I get it. Sometimes you got to be realistic. You got to be able to do
it in a better way. That's what I was trying to get at. Like, I have no problem saying like trying to build confidence with your players, but especially when we had like, you guys remember the player meeting only after the first game of the year against OKC, like that should have been the sign right there that this guy's about out the door. That was like 3 years ago. Absolutely. Still here.
Absolutely.
But that's besides the point. A little rant. Sorry.
Hey, it's we love rants. We love rants. I've already did 2 just in this 20-ish minutes of us being here. But my next one, guys, my next gift is to the Denver Nuggets, man. I gotta give a gift to the Denver Nuggets, even though I don't like them very much as a Lakers fan, but I gotta give them a gift. And that is a better Cam Johnson. Y'all, I'm gonna be honest. Cam Johnson coming into this offseason, I thought was one of just this greatest and just sneakiest greatest pickups. It was funny because it was Cam Johnson and Jonas Valanciunas, which both went to the Denver Nuggets. And I was like, man, these are just 2 of the greatest, sneakiest pickups, and they're just going to fit so well. And I think Jonas Valanciunas has. But Cam Johnson has let me down so much, and the numbers will kind of tell you that. Like just plain black and white, scoring-wise, yeah, the numbers are down right now compared to his career stats, but really, like, it's when you watch the game, and to me, what I see is the potential and the impact he could be having, but he's just not having because he's just not shooting well, right? And the numbers would tell you actually that he is, because right now he's shooting 42% from the three-point line, career 39%. But I say that to say, again, numbers are not always black and white. If you watch, I feel like he could be having just such a greater impact than what he actually is having. Like, bro, we're talking about this man, a great spot-up shooter. That's what he thrives in this league. That's where he made his name in this league, is being a great role player, spot-up shooter. Is playing with Jokic. He's probably one of the most doubled players in actually depends how they guard him, but most times they're gonna double him, and then when they do, bro, I think Cam Johnson should just be having a much more of an impact than what he's having, and I think he's also just shooting extremely poor. But you would hope that the shot, he ends up finding it throughout a long 82-game season. But a little bit of a rant, like I told you, Garrett, we ran around here, but yeah. But yeah, I gotta give the Denver Nuggets a better Cam Johnson. This is not the best Cam Johnson.
It'd go a long way, definitely, especially and I will say he has played definitely better in the first couple games of the year. And I think some of the things he is doing are right in terms of like defensive positioning and like cutting to the basket and everything like that. But he just hasn't really been hitting shots at the same rate. That's like the big thing. And I mean, you've seen it with like some of these other teams too. Like we talked about Detroit earlier, like they're playing well. It feels like they're moving the ball crazy. They're just not hitting a whole lot of threes. Like that could be a difference between a team that's like a really good shot and like the best shot. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's a make or miss league, baby. It's a make or miss league.
I mean, his shots have definitely started to fall a lot more. Like his efficiency, like you mentioned, is up. I think really just the volume is what you're seeing down a lot. Like early season, he definitely did struggle, but I mean, acclimating to a new team, okay, I see that. But I mean, right now, I would say the overall production, I mean, just it's lower than it even was during some of them Phoenix days where he probably was like your, I don't know, 4th, 5th option when those teams were at their best. So I think it's definitely a situation where they could, keep continuing to integrate him more and more, because as a team who needs that depth, needs that shooting, being able to have I mean, he's probably there like fifth, fourth best guy, something in there. So being able to get the best production out of him possible, I mean, only ups their chances as they try to get that second ring.
Okay. Gabe, you got one, brother?
So I did have one to bounce off of, the Chicago take that Garrett had there. But it's not just Chicago. This one is actually, I'm gifting the same thing to all three teams in this little gift here. So a group gift, we'll say. But I'm putting a gift in the stocking of Chicago, the Utah Jazz, and the Sacramento Kings. And each of them, they're going to open up their stocking. And as Santa, comes down the chimney and fills those. This is in the team facility, though. We're not going to nobody's house because it's a little weird, man. They're gonna open up this stocking, and it's going to be a ping pong ball inside. And you might say, a ping pong ball? What's that mean? It means they won the lottery, man. It means they won the lottery. That's the winning ping pong ball for the NBA draft lottery. And the top 3 picks are going to go to Chicago, Utah, and Sacramento. I feel like these teams have just been bad year after year after year. And at the same time, they just never get that top pick. I feel like Chicago has picked at number 7 my entire life. They got up to like number 4 with Patrick Williams. Didn't work out. But this year, there is a surefire top 3, I feel like. If they get anybody in that top 3 of the draft, Darren Peterson, Cam Boozer, AJ DeMansa, if they get any of those guys, game changer, franchise changer, puts them in a great spot moving forward. So I just feel like all those teams specifically really need that top end talent. Like there's other bad teams out there, but I've seen New Orleans get some generational picks. And even though they don't have their pick this year, I don't really want to see them with another number 1 pick because they clearly just don't know what they're doing to build around that. And not saying these teams will, but I'm telling you right now, the Kings and the Jazz are not building through free agency. And even though Chicago's a big market, clearly they don't either. So these teams need to get a franchise guy through the draft. And I think that this year is the year to do it. So these teams, like also Utah and Sacramento, I feel like have just been drafting like 4th, 5th at the highest, but they just never break into like the top, except for when Sacramento got Marvin Bagley over Luka. But that was like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
That was 7 years ago now, man. So let those 3 teams get the top 3 picks. I'm telling you, man, we can. AJ DeMansa, he's already at BYU. Just keep him in Utah. He's already there. Clearly, he chose to go there. We can get Cam Boozer in Chicago. Carlos Boozer played for the Bulls at one point, so keep it in the family. Then, get Darren Peterson out there in Cali. Maybe not the team you want to go to in Cali. There's probably 2 more I'd rather be on. But, last time if there's one thing they can do is draft a guard. They drafted Halliburton and Fox. Did they handle them the best? No. But they have a much better track record drafting guards than they do bigs. I'll tell you that.
That is a great point. And honestly, I'm not big into like college basketball or like basketball before the NBA. I'm more of just like strictly NBA guy. But you know who I'm big on talent though. So if I peep talent, I'm a real recognize real. And that AJ DeMansa dude, he's really a kid. That kid is, man, insane. So for the love of God, I hope he don't go to Sacramento. Sacramento is going to fumble his career. And like how you said, Gabe, I was going to say the same thing. He right there in Utah. The NBA always just make it happen like that. He already got, I bet, a bigger fan base in Utah than anywhere else, probably at this point, except his hometown. All right, let's go ahead and make it happen. And you know what I'm saying? Send them to Utah. I think they have actually a solid organization, to be honest with you, except the fact that the fans are racist. But besides that,
well,
hey, what if we have a Utah fan watching?
Hey,
we don't mean Utah fans.
You can say the same about Boston fans, though.
You can say absolutely.
Let's be real. Let's be real. In Boston, they seem to get a lot of nice things.
But not you, Boston fans watching.
Not you in particular.
You guys are the good ones. You guys are saints.
Yeah. If you're a Boston fan watching KOT, be like Reek Knows Hoops, man. Model Celtics fan.
Absolutely. One thing I wanted to say though too is with this draft, and this is kind of, you could even see it in the thumbnail. Is it a ethical gift to give? Probably not. But I just feel like in my heart, when you were talking about like the draft lottery and who the top picks will be, I just feel like it is probably going to be the Pacers like this year. I just think that's what's going to happen. And you just look at this team that already made the finals last year, and then they have a perfect opportunity ahead of them that's very similar. It reminds me to like, maybe the one trade in like 97 where I think like Otis Thorpe was traded and the Grizzlies gave their pick up to Detroit, and then they had a chance to get Melo or Bosh or Wade, and they ultimately picked Darko Milicic. But like they still had a chance to get one of those guys on top of a team that won the title like that next year, and he didn't do a whole lot. Or reminds me of like when David Robinson got hurt for almost the whole year, and they got the first pick and got Tim
Timmy D.
They were out of the playoff picture. Like this is what I see from this Pacers scenario. It's also possible, really, from the Thunder standpoint, especially with like the Clippers being so bad. So I just think that this could be, I think with those teams, I know a lot of people aren't going to like it because it's going to make good teams more overpowered. And obviously, like I want my Chicago Bulls to get a first pick because we haven't had that since the D Rose time, but I feel like this could happen. And also with those three names you just listed, like Dybantsa, Boozer, and Darren Peterson, like I feel like it's been a while since I've been like as excited as coming up to this year on like a top 3 prospects and like what team they're going to be on, because it reminds me of like 2017 when it's like, oh, like at the time, I think most people were like, Markelle Fultz is going to change a team. Lonzo Ball is going to change a team. De'Aaron Fox could go a little later, but he'll change a team. I think at the time people were talking like Josh Jackson, like could change a team. I know obviously some of those didn't pan out, Tatum, of course. And then you got guys like Donovan Mitchell and Bam or stuff that came later on. But I think that, it's just a very interesting draft that's going to happen. That's not like a gift at all, but well, I guess it is kind of a gift because in my opinion, I feel like the Pacers will end up with that number 1 pick, and it'll really set them up for a good comeback, especially with a healthy Albert next year.
If it's not OKC, I'll be happy, man. If it is OKC, I'll have a good chuckle about it because my team, like, I'll be real, man. I don't think my team is on the cusp of a championship, so I'm gonna sit back and watch. Like, don't get me wrong, the Raptors are good, but I don't know if we're the team that's going to be most affected by OKC's dominance, man. So, game is game, but if the Clippers really fumble their way into giving that, they would have given the Thunder Shea, the pick that became J-Dub, and then they gave them like AJ DeBance or Cam Boozer, bro, I'm done. It's over.
Yeah, that would not be good. But also, I mean, I don't know. It's just crazy, man. Like how we're in a situation where the 2 teams that made the finals last year could literally like have the top 2 picks.
Yeah,
this gotta be like one of the first times in history that something like that is happening. But
just one other thing I will say too is like, I mean, we've talked about it on the stream before. I think it might have been Jelson who brought it up, like talking about the NBA draft lottery might be a little fishy at times, and who won it this most recent year? It was Dallas after they traded Luka Doncic. So, I mean, you could very well see something like that where it's like, has anything really crazy happened for Utah lately? Wouldn't say so. Or Sacramento. I mean, these are teams that have been bad for a while, of course. And then, of course, same thing with my Bulls, who we are a bigger market, so maybe that favors more in that whole realm of things. But I don't know. I just think that if it were OKC or Indiana, like that would definitely fit that same storyline thing that we were talking about once before on here.
Well, I'll tell you what, De'Aaron Fox isn't anything near the player Luka Doncic is, but Sacramento did just get rid of De'Aaron Fox, which is basically equivalent to their Luka Doncic, the greatest player that they've ever had. But let's see, somebody said, give Zion fruit. I had to read it out loud to understand. Oh, that's
Zion fruit.
Hey, that's
how. Hey, he's been playing good off the bench. He's been playing good off the bench, though.
Zion's done for. He's finished.
They've been winning a lot though lately.
Give the franchise to Derek Queen, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
Give him Dairy Queen, he said?
No, give the franchise to Derek Queen.
Give him Dairy Queen.
I was just trolling.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, nah, bro. Zion needs a fresh start, man. He needs to go to what's the healthiest state in the US? Where do they eat like nothing but the healthiest? Man, he need to get out to LA, honestly. Make that man a Clipper.
Ooh, I don't know, man. You think so?
A Clipper. Ooh.
I don't think he's alive LA.
Bro,
I don't think he's a fit for
Clippers.
Laker. I don't think he's a fit for Lakerland, but look what they did to Luca, man. He went out there, he lost weight in LA. You know, it's hot.
Luka's a different beast,
more.
Zion on the Clippers gives me Sean Kemp Magic vibes.
I'm just thinking, bro. Like Zion in LA, he gonna have more access to Ozempic than anywhere else.
Okay. Yeah, that's not wrong, I guess.
He's gonna have more access than anywhere else.
That was honestly a good question. You said the healthiest state. Yeah. I Googled it because Google knows everything.
Okay.
Includes Hawaii, Massachusetts, Colorado, Vermont, Utah, New Jersey, California, hey, but don't come be a Laker though. Connecticut, New Hampshire, and Minnesota.
Hey,
I would love to know like what are the barometers for that? Like what do we use to decide that, you know?
I don't know, man.
But I'm in there, California. Represent.
Hey, I'm not, man. Ohio's down. But...
Come on, brother. But that's not you, Gabe. That's not you, Gabe.
That's true. I'll be in the gym. You KOT fan watching at home, you might be in the least healthy state, but you are the pinnacle of excellence. You are human peak.
Come on, you are the 1%. Guys, my gift is two gifts. One is just a joke, but kind of not a joke, and the other one I'll be serious on.
Okay.
My joke, kind of not a joke, is giving Giannis a one-way ticket to LA and no return. Just paying for the flight ticket
and no return.
And no return. A one-way and no return. And then, but you know, that may be a stretch. But the only reason why I say maybe a stretch is because we got Luka. We didn't think we'd get Luka. So you never know. But being realistic though, if we're being like realistic, like for the Bucks, because to be real with you, man, like if you think about it from the Bucks perspective, like losing Giannis, like gotta be like worse than losing the love of your life. And like knowing that she's leaving, right? Because I think it's clear. Like I don't know how y'all feel, but I think it's pretty clear Giannis isn't staying in Milwaukee. I think it's just a matter of where he goes and when he's leaving. I think that's already made up. And again, I could be wrong, but I feel like Milwaukee's so desperate. So if I could give Milwaukee a gift, is the gift of magic, making something happen, whether it's bringing a player, whether it's bribing him by, you know, signing his brother or another one of his brothers or whatever, you know, like doing whatever it takes to keep your franchise player. I mean, we just talked about the Kings losing their franchise player, but can you imagine losing somebody like Giannis? That's closer to losing somebody like Luka than it is losing somebody like.
It might be worse, man. I'm not gonna lie, because Giannis got them the championship.
That's true, actually. That's actually a really good. That's actually a fact. It might be worse, actually.
But maybe that makes it less bad because he did get the job done there. So it's like if he leaves, you know, at least he got the job done for them. He gave them a ring.
It's been long enough though, too, that like this team, like Bucks fans have to realize this team is not winning a championship as currently constructed, anyways. And in a way, it's kind of similar to me, like when the Celtics moved on from like Paul Pierce and KG and stuff, and it's like that was like 5 years after. I mean, the team was definitely getting older. Like I think they lost in the first round that year, and it's like cool. You could keep trying to like maybe make another playoff appearance or two before like riding the coattails, or you could try to get better. And they ultimately got better, but also it was like that trade helped them win a championship in 2024, if you really think about it. So it's like, yes, it might suck to get rid of Giannis, like, but also trying to get as many assets as you can to build for like the Bucks, even if it's in like 2033. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real though. Giannis
Shit,
is getting
AR.
traded.
Alton Connect, a couple picks, Rui.
Nah, bro. The Giannis trade, I'm telling you, this is gonna be the Giannis trade.
What
But
you thinking?
To the Chicago Bull.
let the money match up some other way. But I did have a Giannis gift on here, and I'm gifting Giannis a shiny new locker, empty with number
In LA?
34 on it, in Madison Square Garden, man.
Oh, don't
It's a
do
locker
that.
in Madison
Don't
Square
Do
Garden.
that.
For who?
Gabe.
And
Gabe.
For
the
who?
trade is honestly, man, gotta be real. It's gonna be OG Anunoby, Tyler Kolek, and a second round pick.
That's not flying,
And
dude. That will
unfortunately-
not happen.
They would
Unfortunately, man,
rather
That
take
is
the
not
AR trade.
happening.
We're taking the AR trade before
They
that.
wouldn't even trade for 3 times that. I don't think. No.
They're
Hey,
taking
man,
the AR
let me
before
let
that.
me let me tell you something, man.
Okay.
They got no leverage. They want to lose him for nothing.
So take AR.
To
Wait,
take
weren't you
AR?
saying that the Bucks weren't going to trade Giannis a couple weeks ago?
Oh yeah, they're not. But this is I'm Santa. If I'm Santa Claus, I'm giving Giannis what he wants, and that's a locker in Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
So if
Santa
I'm
Gabe.
Santa Claus and I'm making something happen magically, okay,
Mhm.
we'll get a forward out of there. You know what, Bucks? You
I
can get
see
a
what you
bench
mean now.
piece. But as Santa Claus trying to give Giannis what he wants, I don't want to gut the roster. Giannis wants to compete for titles.
Well, that's from the Knicks' perspective, though. I think if you're the Bucks, though, like,
I'm Santa's perspective. I'm gifting Giannis. The Bucks are on the
Santa's-
naughty list.
but the
Chris
Bucks.
Middleton
That's
is-
what I was just gonna.
Hey, bro.
They're on the
I'm
naughty
Chris-
list.
Santa's
Nah, bro.
perspective.
Chris Middleton did all he did for that city, and they ship him off to the Wizards.
That was dirty. That was dirty.
Come on.
That was
To be
nearly
fair,
as
he could
dirty
not
as
stay healthy.
waiting Chris Paul in his retirement tour. It's
Hey,
getting
the Clippers are getting straight cold, bro.
cold. I'm gifting the Clippers Cole.
Holders.
Yeah.
I'm gifting them Cole. That's what I'm giving them. And that'll be
I'm gifting
Yeah,
them
straight
trees,
up, mate.
man.
Me
I'm
too.
gifting them trees.
No,
plants
then
of
they're on the nice list.
aspiration.
That'll be on the nice list, then. That's what they
Mm.
want.
no.
Okay.
I'm gifting them. They're getting Coles in their stocking because they've been
Okay.
naughty this year.
Wait,
Boys.
while we're on the topic of the Bucks, real quick. Oh wait, were you gonna say something? Sorry.
No, I was just gonna go be opposite guy. I gotta go pick up my daughter, so I was just gonna say Merry Christmas to you boys and everybody in KOC.
Yes, sir. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas
to you.
Merry Christmas, everybody here in the chat. Merry Christmas to Garrett, Gabe, and everybody in KOT. I'll be here on Friday, so I'll see you guys after Christmas. This is John pre-Christmas. God willing, we'll speak post-Christmas. But
All right.
we'll
Yes,
see you
sir.
guys.
Merry
Oh, yeah.
Christmas, John.
Merry Christmas.
My what I was gonna say though is because we were just talking about the Bucks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give a gift to Doc Rivers, and bro, can we get this guy some hearing aids? Like, I'm sorry, but I don't know about you, but I mean, of course, I've been saying this year. I've been watching a lot of coach post-game press conferences just to see
Yeah.
what they say. And I swear, I've never seen a coach interrupt the people that are asking questions more than Doc Rivers. Watch one Doc Rivers post-game. He does it at least every other question. I watched this one guy try to ask a question in 3 or 4 different ways. He kept barely getting interrupted by Doc Rivers, and then he just eventually just cut him off completely. I'm like, dude, that's just disrespectful. You know what I mean? Like, let people talk and ask their questions.
Garrett, the ball's in your court, man.
What is this? Give me the gift of Gabe winning a tournament on SMH. Hey, man.
The ball's in your court, bro.
Unfortunately, we do not hand those out.
Hey, Garrett, how
didn't-
about I pull up on you for a 1v1?
Hey, that would be a good present for me.
Hey, live and on stream. I'm declaring it. I'm challenging Super Mario Hoops to a 1-on-1. And when am I gonna
Rigged,
get
and
it
I
to
hate Gabe.
address? When am I gonna get out to address redacted? I don't know, but I'll be there. It's cold
Not true.
outside right now, though, man. We need some basketball weather.
How is it rigged that? Hey, man.
It's true. He puts me in the bracket against Reek, and I just gotta go outside, man.
that is not like okay. I'm sorry that Reek
Yeah,
is
man.
elite, but
Yeah,
Devin
man,
won the last one.
That's
Though,
true.
so
That's true. That's true. I'm just washed, man.
hey man, we'll see. Oh, so now we're boycotting.
Hey, boycotts never work, man. No boycott has ever worked. All right, but listen, I do
Go
have
ahead.
I do have more presents that I'm giving out. Santa's very
Okay.
generous this year. So I know I was talking about how I needed the Pistons, specifically the Thompson twins, to get an offseason with Steph Curry. So, Steph Curry got good karma. He's on the nice list. He's still playing great for a 37-year-old. So what did I get Steph Curry, you may ask? My favorite player. What did I get him for Christmas? What do you think I got Steph Curry for Christmas? Let me ask. What do you think I got him?
A brick.
No. I got Steph Curry. I got him Bob Myers for Christmas. Because Bob Myers is he's gonna get the spirit of Christmas and the spirit of giving, and he's gonna say, I want to give Steph a chance. And he's going to go to Joe Lacob and he's going to say, man, get Mike Dunleavy out of there. I'm back. The GOAT is back. The guy who built the 73-9 Warriors, the guy who built the KD Warriors. Get him back to the Bay because he built greatness and he established greatness. And there wouldn't be any of this 2-timeline BS. There wouldn't be this no depth BS. There wouldn't be Steph Curry popping off being a GOAT on a old team and them just losing games and them just being terrible. This team sucks. And he's too old to be doing all this. You remember what happened to Kobe in 2013, man? He was carrying too hard. He was still good and he was carrying too much. I don't want to see that for Steph Curry, man. I don't want to see him go outside. He needs his GM back. Mike Dunleavy, he got lucky in 2022. He has not put together good rosters.
I mean, what I'll say though is, of course Curry is still like the main player on the Warriors and their only star, pretty much their only saving grace, you could say. But like, it almost feels like he'll be like, guess what? We're bringing the band back together, and it's like, great. Now where do we start? And then the other one says, I don't know, because this team is, like you just said, they're not it. I don't know how they're going to make the moves.
Yeah,
how are they
because
going to
bad GM. If they get Bob Myers back, he built great
who's going to take,
rosters.
is someone going to take like it? If we're putting Draymond on the table, if we're putting Jimmy Butler on the table, if we're putting Al Horford and Podziemski and Moses Moody, like, I'm going to be real. I don't know how much you're actually going to get back. Like, you could maybe get a little bit better, I'm sure. Like, you could win most of those trades if you play your cards right. But are you really going to be in contention with the Thunder or Denver or even the Spurs who are on the ride? I don't know, man. I don't think it's possible. As good as even Curry is.
I'm just saying. It's not. I know Curry's older, so playing the short-term game is not the easiest thing in the world. All I'm saying is it all starts at the top with the GM. And a good GM can take, like, what were the Warriors doing before Bob Myers? They were like one of the lowest valued franchises in the NBA. They hadn't really been super relevant since, they had some good eras. We believe was pretty good. They had Run TMC. It was pretty good. But the last time they were actually like world class was like Rick Barry. Before that is like Wilt. So he took them to the promised land and he built a squad. So he needs to come back, man. That's the only way they're getting out of this, because that front office, he'd also get Steve Kerr up out of there, man. Because Mark Jackson had them on the rise and he said, no, not working. Let me get somebody else to get him over the hump. All right. Right now he'd be like, all right, Steve Kerr, not working. Gotta go. We're done. Like, this team they need change, man. And I'm not seeing Steph go out like this. So I need the guy who I know can build a good roster. Like, he can do that, like 2023 Lakers where they had that crazy turnaround at the trade deadline, or just in any of those. Like, I think he can make something happen.
Yeah, I think from your perspective of like being Santa Gabe and giving him the best option to get that, I definitely agree. It'll be hard like to make it happen. You know what I mean? Like, so I guess my next one though that I'll give, since I did just say one about post-game press conferences, I'll say one more about it because I'm going to give an award for post-game press conference that I heard a couple weeks ago. And no, it's not Billy Donovan or Ty Lue because they are so annoying that even for a bad award, they're not worthy of getting any award, even the stink award.
Okay.
Not happening. But I'm going to give one because I heard this one. It was only a couple minutes, maybe 5 minutes long. And I was like, what? Like it threw me really for a loop. So I'm giving, and you might be surprised, SGA the worst player post game that I've seen so far this year. That award, because when they lost to the Spurs, there were 3 things that he said that I was confused by. The first thing he said was the game of basketball is not about makes or misses. It's about the other things. Now, from that perspective, sure, the other things, the little things help to win. But saying it's not about makes or misses, wasn't there a big old slogan for the NBA? It's a make or miss league. It's a make or miss league. I saw every single person saying that. So already weird. Then they asked him about losing because it was their first time losing after a while. And he said, personally, I think it's exciting. I don't know if I really see eye to eye with that, especially because they have lost another game since then, 0-2 with their full healthy starting lineup. I don't think that's the thing to say, but this is also the one after this that was really confusing to me. Is he said, goals are pointless to reach at, but all the goals will take care of themselves. And I get it. He's Mr. Nonchalant. He's Mr. Cool Guy and everything like that. But all I'm going to say is if Shea thinks that the Thunder have it sweet, because right now they've been winning a lot lately, you have to actually get there. You have to run through the tape. As like Kenny the Jet Smith said, run through the tape. You know what I mean? Like that's you just can't let that happen. Because I saw a team last year and you saw the same team and you even had your doubts with them too. The Cavs started the year off 15-0. I think they started the year off 21-4 or something, roughly around the same thing where the Thunder are right now. And it was a bad ending for them. Maybe they had some injuries and everything, but if you're the Thunder, you're on the top right now, but there's a long season yet to go before you start assuming those things. And it could change just like that. We thought Boston was going to be that team for years. And after last year's playoffs, guys left, Tatum got hurt. And now, I mean, even though they're playing really good to expectations, I don't know if we're saying, they're going to win a championship or anything. It still feels like there's a lot missing. You might, maybe. I don't think a lot of people are saying.
Yeah, I think they are, bro. I think most people would peg OKC as the favorite to win the title right now.
No. I'm saying Boston. No, I'm saying Boston. After they won in 2024, people thought they were going to be the next thing, the dynasty for years to come, and they were going to be a problem. But 1 year where a lot of guys they lost that next summer, and then Tatum gets hurt. They're still in there in the playoff picture, but are they this definitive team that we're they're going to run the East and they're even going to maybe win more championships? We don't know because it all depends on Tatum and how he comes back. They still are missing a lot at the front court. So all I'm going to say right now is, the Thunder are winning and they should be the favorites to win it all. But if you're Shea, don't be thinking everything is sweet because I saw this, and you can maybe allude to this a little bit too. When your boy, I know you're talking.
My boy.
Who's your guy?
Probably Steph Curry.
Steph Curry, yes. And they won in 2015, did they not, right?
Yes.
And they won a record 73 games that year. Okay. And maybe, as a team, whether it was him or whether it was Clay or something, they were getting a little bit too riled up as things were going well for them. And then when things went tough, you saw the emotions start coming out. And it didn't end the way that they wanted it to. So that's all I'm saying for the sake of this Thunder team. You don't want to see the same thing, the same story written, right?
But I think that story, though, if we tell the whole story, if OKC loses in the finals this year in 7 games, and then they say, let me throw up the bat signal and they go get Giannis and that's their KD. I just don't know if that's a bad ending, man. I think that's a pretty okay ending.
I don't know if that's going to happen though, just because KD was a free agent. And like you would have to make a trade at this point in time, you know, because a lot of people.
If anybody has the assets for that trade, though, I think it is Oklahoma City.
They do, but they're going to have to give up something though. Like it's not just going to be like.
Well, they have a lot of things to give up though.
Right, but I don't. They're probably if you're asking me, they're going to have to give up one of their main three pieces, and they're definitely not giving up Shea. So whether that becomes Chet or Jalen Williams. Well, I'm saying like in the sake of the Warriors comparison, it's like, yeah, they had to get rid of Harrison Barnes and Bogut to make money, but it's like they still had like pretty much the rest of the death lineup, you know, all those other guys like Curry, Clay, Iggy, Draymond, you know.
They gave up a lot of depth though, man. I'll be real. Like as far as that, like the 2017 Warriors versus like 15 and 16, like those teams for real went 10 deep with really good players. But then once you got to the KD Warriors, like they're starting Zaza at center. He's a starter. Or like JaVale McGee was decent. He definitely like the second half of his career there with them and with with the Lakers afterwards. Like he was pretty decent. But I mean the depth was not there like it was with like when they were running with like Barbosa as the eighth man. Like they were real deep there for a little bit. Festus Ezeli was giving them quality minutes.
He was. I think also just part of it is like you'd have to get the player that really fits the mold of the team. Like if it were a Giannis or something, right? Like, you know, that could leave some question marks. And sure, Durant going to the Warriors had people questioning it first, but it's like, as we've seen in hindsight, it was kind of a match made in heaven. You know, like perfect guy you want there to play off of Curry. And they won multiple championships. Maybe it would have three-peated if, you know, I know that's kind of a touchy subject for you too, because like Curry on one hand and the Raptors on another, but like they might have, you know what I mean? So I don't know. Like I just think that if you're Shea, just play it cool. Don't be trying to talk, like do too much. Like I think it's exciting to lose and like goals are pointless. Like just play and like, you know, don't say things that could come back to bite you in the butt.
I don't know, man, because I feel like people do have this notion of like people don't like front runners. Like people don't like when you talk only when you're up and when things are great, but people also don't like, you know, the NBA soft, there's no rivalries, like everybody's just too friendly and buddy. So, you know, I like when people talk a little bit of shit and they just, you know, might be a little full of themselves, get a little cocky. I think it's good for the game overall. And sometimes it's going to come back to bite you. But I mean, that's just part of what it's about, man. Like the players who, you know, they might talk shit when they're down and then they end up losing. You know what? You got to respect it. You got to charge that to the game, man. But I think having the guts to go out there and do it and be competitive is good for the game.
I do want to ask you a question first. I'm going to bring up these two things, though, like Jacob
Brown
thing.
Christmas gifts, man.
And apparently Jacob Brown freaky.
Apparently that's freaky, man. He was on freak mode.
So I should ask you this because obviously when it happened, like we didn't even know each other. But so when I don't know exactly. I'm sure you obviously wanted the Warriors to win in 2016, being a Curry fan and all. But when they lost, like how did you feel?
I'm gonna be real, man. I'm gonna age myself here. 16, 17 is actually the first year that I was fully invested in watching basketball.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So actually, that was the last thing that happened. That was actually the last thing that happened before I got into basketball fully.
So that is just, you know, I guess that's the one thing I was kind of just getting at is like because when I was watching that as well, and this is coming from a guy who, you know, I've been critical, even LeBron and Curry. So it's like, no matter which way that went, like it is what it is for me. But I did see not just Curry, like, I mean, you saw the thing with Clay, like I'm sure when Clay laughed at LeBron after the one game or something,
he got his feelings hurt.
Like, yeah, and like Draymond, like, doing his antics, of course, all playoffs long, and especially in that finals. Like, I just think that, and I'm not saying like they're a team like that. I mean, maybe Lou Dort sometimes plays like Draymond on the court, but other than like those things, like, and maybe like, I guess the whining aspect you could say is similar, but just from that perspective, that's why I was getting at that a lot. Because right now they have a chance to do something historic, and you don't want to have such an incredible historic season if they went like 74-8 and then they cap it off with like a second round exit. Like, that would be one of the people would be talking about that forever,
Yeah, I don't. Those 2 losses in 3 games do kind of have me questioning if they're going to be able to get that record. They started off so hot, but now I'm like, and that regular starting
with their
lineup,
fully healthy lineup too.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe there is an adjustment period there where they were so hot and now they're trying to like kind of get things going smooth again. I don't know. Like, to say they can only get 5 more losses the rest of the year and they have to win what, 39 games, 40 games, something like that. No, 50 games.
Yeah, they'd have to.
They still have to win about 49 games to beat that record. They won 25, I think.
You gotta go like 49 and like 5.
Yeah, like I don't know if they're doing that, man.
Yeah, it's probably not gonna happen. But I just think like given where we are right now, it is in play. So just wanted to bring it up. Do you have any extra Christmas things?
I do have a couple on here.
Okay, I got about 4 or 5 more.
So my next one is actually for the Cavs since they've been a little down bad. And this is going to be a mutually beneficial one, man, because it's not going to happen. But I do think that all parties would be pleased if it did. So the Cavs, I think, at this point they're down. They need to get the vibes up. And what would bring the vibes up more in Cleveland and bringing back the best player in franchise history?
They already got Donovan Mitchell.
All right, bro. When Donovan Mitchell gets them a ring, and when Donovan Mitchell gets when
that other guy gets 71.
Man. Yeah, 71 in one regular season game. Anyways, they're going to bring LeBron back. And you know what? Even if you want to say that Donovan Mitchell is the second best player in franchise history, which I don't know if he's been there long enough to justify that, but
peak wise, definitely, I would say.
With that said, I feel like the people would definitely rock with LeBron being back there. But you might say, well, in the Lakers side, though, I think we know with the Lakers, they are starting to go in a new direction. They got Luka, they got AR. LeBron's old. Let LeBron have his homecoming. Maybe provide a spark, provide that playmaking for the Cavs since Darius Garland is a little hit or miss. We know LeBron's still a great playmaker. And let the Lakers get Jarrett Allen, man. Clearly, they need a shift. Let Evan Mobley move over to the 5. And then get Luka, Jarrett Allen. I think that's a pretty good fit. So Santa is going to get the Cavs and the Lakers on the phone with each other. And they're going to say, hey, man, I'm coming home again. And the Lakers, they're going to get what they want. Now, the Lakers, honestly, this is going to sound weird because it's LeBron. I think the Lakers may have to give up a little bit more. But with that said, I think both fan bases would be happy in that setting.
So in this trade too, because of course the Lakers have like Ayton and they have Jackson Hayes. Getting Jarrett Allen, would they also trade like Jackson Hayes, you think, or are they just going to have like the 3 centers on their squad?
Honestly, I don't think anybody's mad if Jackson Hayes is getting DNP coaches' decisions.
Okay.
I mean, if the Cavs want him for a roster spot, they can take him. But literally last year, it was like the whole thing was the Lakers suck because they're playing Jackson Hayes at center. Like, I don't think they want him to have to play a lot of minutes. He just has to because they're thin at the big man position.
Mm-hmm. I think he's played well for most of the year so far compared to expectations, I will say. So, I mean, like, especially you look at the Cavs, it's like you move Mobley to the 5. They still have Thomas Bryant, you know what I mean? And I guess like Tomlin, can play like a 4, but I don't really expect him to play in the 5. I think Larry Nance is too small probably to play the 5 consistently, but I think, and you might be surprised with me saying this, but I think it's actually a good trade for both sides. I think it's good I'll say it's good for the Lakers' sake because, going in a different direction, you add some more players that fit the timeline of Luka and Austin Reeves, and you can fully invest in that squad. It also opens up
play style.
money. Yeah, and to that play style as well. And it opens up so much more money, I would say, as well, that they could do stuff long term and not have to feel tied down. It's not that, like, I guess, of course, like LeBron is still, playing pretty well. But also it's like it limits what they can do with their roster and the trades they can make. Cause like this guy's getting so much money, we can't move it, So I will say that's the positive there. For the Cavaliers, I do think it actually could be a positive because, and I'm going to say another one just real quick here. Like one of my other things I had on my list was I think Darius Garland, gifting him with confidence as well, because last year he had so much of it, got hurt at the worst time, and then he came back in that Pacers series and wasn't playing well. So a team that outside of maybe Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Tyson and Thomas Bryant, nobody's really like igniting a fire in this squad. And I feel like the good teams, at least, and I was telling Jay this, I think the other day, at least half or more than half of your team has to be players that can ignite that fire or show that energy. And if they aren't, then they're probably not going to have a successful formula. And that's why so many people are doubting the Cavs right now. And, LeBron can do that. Like he can, energize the guys as well. But I think the biggest thing is because of like what you said, like him coming home would really help in that sense, at the point where it's like we get a solid player. He could be like the second or third option. You know what I mean? He could be a playmaker for our team. But also it's like, okay, maybe the vibes and also just, the overall confidence has restored because it feels like we have, a complete team. Like that small forward hole has been pretty apparent because Sam Merrill's been out, Max Strus has been out, DeAndre Hunter has sucked this year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you get a guy like LeBron and put him in there, and like we were saying, like he doesn't have to be the leading scorer on the team, but he can be on some nights and can be the main playmaker on some nights. So as a, how I'm not a LeBron, enthusiast myself.
Yeah.
So it would be not super fun from that sense for myself. However, I cannot deny that it would give the team probably some more benefits.
I think it'd be great vibes, man. And I just know having LeBron back in Ohio, gotta come home, man. It was nice to have those business ventures out in LA, and the business will still be there. You can record Mind the Game, do what you gotta do, but LeBron, where home's at. Where home is at. It's far-fetched that it's gonna happen. LeBron getting traded, just in my mind, still feels like no, there's no way. But for the Cavs, I think they would want him to come home. They'd want him to come home. I know you mentioned you also had a few more gifts. So I know you mentioned the Garland one, but do you have another gift that you'd like to give?
Yes. I'll give you two right now. I think one of them, and it's a pretty simple one, Con Kneppel. Oh, wait, hold on a second. I don't know what just happened. Sorry, like I had a tab issue there. Okay, so first one I'm going to give Con Kneppel a headband. I saw him wearing a headband. I think it was in like Summer League or something like that. And they like just asked him about it. He's like, nah, I don't really like the headband. And then I think he actually might have worn it recently in a game or so because he had like an injury or something. But I think the headband look, does him well. It definitely, like, I don't know. I just think that he definitely looks better with the headband. It gives him that extra, attribute boost, you might say. So that one. And then this is something as well that I actually talked about on my Baloney Basketball show I put today. But, this one goes for any of the, crazy passers that we've seen in recent years, whether it's Jokic or Pistol Pete or Ginobili or Steve Nash as well. I mentioned Boris Diaw on the show today. any of those guys, I want to see how they play in a VR basketball setting.
Hmm.
You know, like I want to see how they read the game, you know, where they, you know, I guess like how they know, how they recognize like
Yeah.
the open player. I feel like it would be so cool. And you know how like NBA teams do those things where it's like marketing videos where it's like, hey, like play a game and like, or go through this little quick obstacle course thing or whatever. Like that would be a cool thing to do where it's like just have them play that for like one game, like a 5-minute game. And then they like make the crazy pass. And it's like, wow. So that's like how they could, that was their tell. You know what I mean? That would be kind of cool, I think, especially with some of those passers who like Magic Johnson is another. You could throw Chris Paul in there, Rondo definitely. Like there's just so many guys that you could put in the mix.
Definitely good for the X and O's enthusiasts, seeing how a real floor general will break down the game. Yeah, I think with the technological advancements, I think they could definitely do something like that. I have liked a lot with that overall. Like I think something you could have said a year ago, probably that the NBA needed for Christmas was some new presentation and just being able to, you know, change things around and give it a shiny new look, bring some energy back to the experience watching the game. And I think this year with like the Prime crew, the NBC crew has done a lot of that. I think they do actually talk a lot more about like the breakdown of what these teams are actually doing on the court to a deeper level. And I think it has added a lot to the whole viewing experience. So I think stuff like that is definitely really cool. I also had a couple of simple ones on here. I had one. I think I would like to see Trae Young have a little growth spurt, a little late growth spurt, because it seems like the Hawks are all but ready to trade him. It seems like the time may be over, but I feel like if he could just get a little bit more height to be able to play some better defense, or at least attempt to play some better defense, because he unfortunately just has the frame to where it's just not going to happen. If he could, I mean, I really think that they'd be in a much better spot. I think if you had his playmaking skills, but he was like 6'6" or something, you know, at that point, it's like the Hawks might be looking in a great position to go pretty far. But right now, it just seems a little limiting. Like they're playing against Charlotte and he's getting tore up and they're just attacking him all game. And it's like they're not even a good team. So if you get into a 7-game series with a good team, like how are you even going to be able to handle that? So I just think that would save his tenure with the Hawks, probably make them less ready to move on, keep that squad together, and definitely put them into a better spot to make a run.
How much of a growth spurt are we talking? Because he's what, 6'1" right now?
I would say if he can be 6'5", 6'6", so like 4 to 5 inches, you know.
Okay.
I'm always one to say that 4 to 5 inches is enough.
Yes, you've told me that many times. Anyways, I'll give another one here. That I mean, that obviously that I will say though, that one definitely would help him. It's just, you know, he needs to drink that magic potion or something like that because feels like it's just they have such a tall team in my opinion. Like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. You look at like some of their bigs. I mean, of course, Porzingis, but like big wise, they don't really have a whole lot, but they have just a ton of tall wings and even guards. So it just feels like a weird fit for him.
I was gonna say I don't think Double O is that tall for a big standard, at least.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're not like a huge like Porzingis is what like 7'3". I think other than that, like I don't know if they have anyone else over 7 foot. But they have like probably nobody else. Maybe like Keaton Wallace. I don't know how tall he is, but he's probably like 6'2". I feel like everyone else in the rotation is like at least 6'5" or something. My other one I'll give here. I only have like I think 2 more, but the first one here is for a list of guys. I'll say like Brandon Roy with Portland. Kevin Durant with OKC one day, Artis Gilmore and Luol Deng, and Joakim Noah with my Chicago Bulls. These are the ones that definitely hit me hard the most. And then these other 2 I feel kind of bad for. Actually, you know what? I'll add another one in there because I just thought about it and I didn't have it on my list. But I think Carmelo with the Nuggets, Ray Allen with the Bucks and Tracy McGrady with the Magic. Like, find a way for them to all get their jersey retired. Definitely, I think those first 5, like, you got to gift them a jersey retirement. I think Brandon Roy for Portland, he had a short stint, but he did so much in that time. Like, peak for peak, maybe a top 3 or top 4 Blazers player ever.
Mm-hmm.
And then for my Bulls, like Artis Gilmore, Luol Deng, Joakim Noah, these are guys who either transformed the culture, were pretty much like felt like Bulls lifers. I know like some of them like Deng and well, really all of them actually played for a different team, but they all felt true to our team. KD's got to get his jersey retired by the Thunder. It might take a while, like how Shaq did with Orlando, but there's no possible way like that doesn't happen, like for an MVP of that team. And then the other 3, though, I kind of separate them, like Carmelo and the Nuggets, because he wore the same number that Jokic currently wears. Ray Allen on the Bucks, because he wears the same number that Giannis wears. And Tracy McGrady with the Magic, who definitely should, because Jonathan Isaac wears his number. And that's no slate to him. But find a way to, like, recognize these guys, whether it's a jersey retirement or not. Like, find a way to, like, recognize them the right way. Because Carmelo Anthony, in my opinion, is a top 3 Denver Nugget ever. It just so happens Jokic is number 1. Ray Allen is probably a top 5 Milwaukee Bucks player ever. Just so happens that Giannis is 1 or 2, Maybe you could argue 1 because he's been there longer than Kareem now. But and then T-Mac, that's just, I don't know. I don't really get that one. I mean, yeah, he wasn't there as long as Jonathan Isaac, but for one, Jonathan Isaac's probably played about as many games as him in like double the time because he's a part-time player, like if you've ever seen one. And 2, like this is a guy who led the league in scoring. You know what I mean? Like they didn't have a whole lot of success, but like he was their guy and the best scorer in the league at one point. So find a way to recognize these guys. I think those first 5 definitely at some point should have their jersey retired. The other 3, whether it should be a jersey retirement for T-Mac because Jonathan Isaac, like no offense, doesn't deserve it one day. Those other 2, it's going to be harder to top Giannis and Jokic, but like find a way to just like recognize them in some light.
I mean, I still think it's possible to retire a jersey and not like making the current player have to change theirs. Like looking at, I mean, Giannis might be off the team soon anyway. So, but yeah, I think especially with those, like, I mean, they retired Bill Russell's numbers league wide, and Jalen Williams is still wearing a 6 for the Thunder. So, I mean, you don't like you can
and the
get
Heat haven't
grandfathered
been able to retire LeBron's yet either. Like that's another one probably.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if they'll do that as long as Pat Riley's around, but they definitely should. I'm interested to see how LeBron's jersey retirements go, just playing for a different team. Same thing with KD. Like, I am interested to see if Golden State will retire his jersey because I also feel like they probably should. But yeah, I think with those, it totally makes sense as far as just being able to honor those guys. I think T-Mac might be the most questionable just based on like the Magic didn't really accomplish a ton as a team while he was there. Like the era before with like the Shaq era, the era after with the Dwight era, like both of those were, teams that made runs, made the finals. And we're a little bit more on the contender side of things than maybe what you saw with the T-Mac era Magic. But I think as far as, jersey retirements and things, it is kind of relative to franchise. Like if you had T-Mac's resume on the Lakers, there's no way his jersey's getting retired. But I think as far as, Orlando, it's definitely more possible. So, yeah, I mean, I can see that. But for the other ones you mentioned, like Carmelo, definitely think that he should be retired in Denver. And you can just grandfather Jokic in. And then it's like once Jokic is done, you're definitely not using 15 again. So, yeah, I think not a problem to grandfather some guys in and still be able to honor the old generation. But speaking of, what you did mention there with LeBron and the Heat, and since then I feel, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say before you get just my last thing, I will say there has been a case before where a team has retired 2 numbers for 2 different players, and I was trying to find it to be sure. So Portland retired number 30 for Bob Gross, who is someone who was on their championship team, and also for Terry Porter, who was like, the point guard alongside Clyde Drexler in the 90s and stuff. So like, yes, it has happened, but it would be interesting to see like a player of the caliber of like a Jokic and Melo or a Giannis and Ray Allen. Cause like, no offense to those guys, but like Bob Gross probably shouldn't have had his jersey retired in the first place. Cause he was just a role player on that title team. And then Terry Porter, it's like, was an all-star, but he's not like a Hall of Famer or anything like that. So it'll be interesting to see if that does happen.
Yeah. Yeah. But last main thing I had, as far as gifts to give out as Santa, is with the Miami Heat, and more specifically, this is a gift for Pat Riley, and my gift is an alarm clock. And I think by proxy, this is a great gift for Eric Spoelstra, because Eric Spoelstra is a great coach. I mean, the fact that they've been able to overachieve with the talent they have time after time, it's truly something incredible. With that said, this team needs to like figure out how to put together a roster with some top end talent, because literally they've been challenging Spo to do more with less for years. And then you get to like, the Miami Heat are in all these trade rumors, but then Pat Riley's just asleep at the wheel. He's taking his nap time. And then he's like, hey, like, here's a bunch of two-way players, late first-round draft picks, some guys who are good role players or high-value starters on other teams. Let's make something happen. And he does make things happen. I mean, he brought teams to the finals twice that should not have been there. They had no business being there, really either time, but especially in 2023, they had no business. So get that man some talent. Like, when you had top-end talent with Spo, this was a finals team 4 years in a row. And I know that was a bit extreme, having like the best player in the league and then, still having a great, supporting cast around him, especially more so from like, I'd say 12 and 13. By 14, Wade and Bosh were a little older, Wade more so with the knees. And in 2011, the supporting cast wasn't great, but like when you gave him like a really talented roster in 12 and 13, I mean, those teams were insane.
Yeah.
So if you could just find a way, whether it's just Pat Riley gets off into retirement or something, I don't know, give Eric Spoelstra a talented roster and it'll do wonders for everybody. Everybody will love it. The people will love it. It'll be entertaining basketball. It'll be great to see on the court. The X's and O's will be great. They just need talent. Please let them get talent.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And that's part of the reason why, like, I mean, I'm sure you remember when I had you and Reek and Devin on my show, and I said, like, who's like that one team that's like kind of needs to blow it up. And I know you guys had a lot of teams that were in the lottery already. And I'm like, the Heat, like, even though they're like, yeah, they could be another playoff team. It's like, why do we want to see the same thing over and over again, where it's like, they're not going to win a title. Like, they might have a cool run. They might beat a team or whatever, surprise them. But like exactly what you just said, like, I think they've been trying to do more with less ever since Chris Bosh had to prematurely announce his retirement, because you even had Dwayne Wade, going into a playoff series, he had to do a lot extra, and you're missing an all-star level player. And then every season after that, from the Dion Waiters era to the Dragic days to you get Jimmy and Bam, but it's like you still don't really have that team that's expected to go to the finals, and like they actually did. And I think part of that is because of Spoelstra and just what he's done. So like, yeah, it's either that or he needs to hang up the sneaks, like I was saying earlier, or something. Like, just pass the throne,
Maybe Eric Spoelstra can just put in a letter of resignation and go take a job under a good GM.
Would it be crazy to say, I mean, obviously we've probably never really seen much of it, but like, what if he took the Brad Stevens approach from coaching to office, and Danny Ainge is the Pat Riley? You know what I mean? Like, where he steps out.
I mean, I guess I know Spoelstra's a guy who like came in, worked his way up all the way from the film room, and has served in a lot of different capacities, but it's a risky game to play, man. Like, great coaches, like, I don't know if, like, Phil Jackson was not doing good on the Knicks, man. Like, that was one of the greatest coaches of all time. put him in the front office role. Like I don't know if I would have wanted Greg Popovich running the Spurs. Like I feel like they still had a great operation there with like RC Buford as the GM, and then Pop just more so handling things on the court. Like sometimes it does work with Brad Stevens, but I feel like a lot of times it just like it doesn't. Like some guys are just made for some roles, and that's their perfect fit.
I will say in the sense of Popovich though, because in 1996, that season I was talking about earlier, where David Robinson was out most of the year, and they got Tim Duncan. Bob Hill was their coach, and then Popovich, of course, was in the front office. He fired him, and named himself head coach. So maybe I don't know, it could just be the inverse scenario of that, really. Of course, Spoelstra doesn't have the way over Riley to fire him, but moving from that position. That's why I kind of compared it to Brad Stevens, because that's the most recent we've seen. But yeah, I think I have one more though, unless you had anything else you want to say on that behalf.
I'm good, man.
So my last one, and I feel like it's fitting to end on this because this one is for the NBA in general.
Okay.
Gifting them expansion. It's time. It's long overdue. The last time we got a new franchise in this league was 2004 when the Charlotte Bobcats were added. And sure, maybe we've seen some things like, the New Jersey Nets became the Brooklyn Nets, and New Orleans Pelicans were the New Orleans Hornets, and the Charlotte Bobcats to the Charlotte Hornets. So we've seen changes from that regard. The Sonics to the Thunder. But, especially with the Sonics, I think Seattle and Las Vegas, we've been talking about it forever. It's just no movement on it. Like putting these two locations, two new teams. But the Sonics definitely need to be in Seattle, definitely need to have, they could have an updated logo and jersey and stuff for sure, but they definitely need to have the same color theme, as their main style. They need to have the same name, and they need to have their history of the Sonics, which I'm pretty sure I saw the Thunder would be willing to allow them to have that as well if a move like that happened. Vegas, do what you want with that team, bring in new life, something cool that we haven't seen. But also and for me, I've said this a while as well, I think it would be cool to take an approach maybe a little bit similar from baseball and the NFL, where, you have maybe 16 teams in each conference now, have 4 teams per division. So you have 8 divisions with 4 teams in each. And I think the top team in every single division should be the top 4 seeds. Now you might be thinking whoa, that's too crazy, because you're going to have a team that's winning your division that's maybe not a top 8 record in your conference. But if you're asking me, I think that would be a lot better for locality rivalries, because if you could imagine, we got Chicago, Cleveland, Milwaukee, and Indiana, just naming 4. Actually, probably Detroit instead of Cleveland would be the closest 4 there. All those games are going to be a bloodbath, because it's if you're not a top 4 or you're not the top of your division, only 4 other teams are going to get in the playoffs out of the other 12. So I think that helps solve the issue of oh, hey, it feels like everyone makes the playoffs. I don't know. I think it would be cool to do that. You can still do the play-in, same style and everything, but I've been saying that for a while. That would be really cool, man. I just think that we're so and I've seen rumors about trying to split up all in just one league, the top 16 teams. I feel like you're just taking away the fun of the rivalries that come with the game. And that's exactly what we were talking about earlier. You get, more divisions, make divisions matter again. And then the conferences still matter, but it's you could be a 42-40 team, win your division, and, get to the playoffs. Now, if you're playing a team in the first round that has a better record than you, that team would probably still get the home court edge, how they used to do it, with divisions mattering. But I just want to see that happen again,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they go backwards to the division thing as far as for seeding purposes. So it might be a hard sell. I think with the expansion, though, that one is a pretty easy sell. It is just unfortunate that both markets are in the West, because then when you're looking at reclassifying teams and you're okay, who's going to the East? then geographically you probably are looking at like New Orleans and Memphis. And with all due respect, neither of those franchises are historically great. Like, obviously, Memphis is a newer franchise, all things considered, but and they've had good teams. Like the Ja teams were good for a bit, of course, but the era before that with Marc Gasol and Mike Conley was very successful. But neither of these teams have any championships. New Orleans is typically kind of a firestorm. Like they get these top end talent and then they can't build around it. So I just, with the conference imbalance already being the way it is with the East and West, like I know the West will get a little worse because of the expansion teams probably not being good, but it's like, do you really want to put two more teams who are likely to be bottom feeders into the Eastern Conference? Like it just makes it even worse than it already is. And I think the only way to remedy that, and this is where that divisions idea comes back in, is if it's not just like the East and the West with 4 divisions each. I think it would have to be like a little bit more like kind of like the AFC, NFC, or like the National League, American League in baseball, splitting it up like that. So where you have just a full new reclassification. I feel like that's the only way it works. And is like, I think that at the same time fixes a lot of the balancing issues with the conferences too.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that it would definitely be cool with like, and it would still leave an opportunity, even the way I was saying, like, we're like every team in your division could make the playoffs, like there's those top 4 seeds. And then like, if you win your division, you're definitely in, but then 5 through really 10, if you include it, like there's 6 spots that are going to play through play in or not have to even. And you could have the other 3 from your same division get in. I was going to ask though, because if you were saying, because if both those expansion teams go to the West, wouldn't they only have to add 1 team to the East? Like that?
Yeah, that's true. That's true for it to each be 16, but
in
both of those options just suck. I think both of those options are bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, someone's got to probably go in there, like just geographically, unless you add like a new team in the East. But I think they're going to start off on a slower footing anyways. But I think you could, like, because this is what they did actually, the NBA, when they added the Magic and the Heat. This is like around the expansion, like heat wave in like the late 80s, early 90s. And they would like put a team 1 year, kind of like I think it was like in the West, then in the East, or the East, then the West or something. And then they had to put them in like a conference for good. I think they did that like just so there wouldn't be as much like expansion imbalance. But I'd have to check like what the thing of it was. But there was a year at one point where like I think the Heat were in the East and the Magic were in the West, even though they both technically were in the East over there.
That makes sense. Yeah, for the balancing sake. But honestly, though, with expansion teams usually taking a while to get off the ground, I don't know. At least Memphis being competitive, like they're usually competitive, so I guess that's not bad. I really would not want New Orleans to be in the East. Like I think that would actively just be terrible. But Memphis is at least a well-run organization most of the time, and I do think that if it does happen, they need to have Ja on the roster, because Ja being fine in the West and then his team moving to the East that's very funny.
Yeah, I think that Memphis would make the most sense, because I'm just looking at the map right here. I think you could put like Milwaukee, like Chicago, Indy, Detroit. Memphis kind of goes in a line like with Atlanta, Orlando, and Miami. Plus, it is technically a little bit more Eastern, but of course, it's like it's not perfect with that, because technically Memphis is actually even more East than Chicago and Milwaukee, but we're both in the East. So
came for Vancouver.
Yeah. Hey, I would be okay with that. I mean, as long as the Seattle Supersonics come back, I'm totally okay with whatever the other place is. It doesn't have to be Vegas. I only suggested that because I feel like that's what the league is talking about the most. And I know
with the cut being there,
yeah,
makes sense. It's definitely the market they look at the most. And I know like Vegas got the Raiders, they have the Aces. Like that's the big
Golden Knights too, right?
Yeah, that's like the growing market right now.
For sure. But with all that said, I feel like we handed out a combined probably like 25 gifts here today between me, you, and John when he was in here earlier. So
yeah.
We appreciate you guys who stayed tuned in the whole time. Shout out Quazim. Shout out Jacob, even though he was apparently a little bit freaky.
It's a free vibe.
Shout out Theo
Maladon.
Wow. That is a poll. And who knows? Maybe I'll feel a little bit friendly and eventually gift Gabe a tournament win. I will say there will be more tournaments in 2026. So that's my personal gift to you, Gabe, and to everyone else on KOT and everyone else who's ever on my channel. And you guys watching, if you guys watch my stuff too. But right now, we're here for KOT and wishing you guys a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. You got anything you want to add before we wrap it up?
You know what? Yeah, man, because I missed a couple streams, so I've been missing out on my player of the week.
Okay.
My player of the week is Dylan Harper. And it honestly was like last week, but bro, I watched this man in that NBA Cup final game. He just wanted it more. And he's just so good so early. Like, I know the jumper in that game was going a little crazy compared to what he has been doing most of the season, but man, he does not look like a rookie. He's so good. That guy, he would be rookie of the year if he was on. There's probably about 18 teams he could win rookie of the year on. Maybe not 18, but at least 12.
Yeah. Really I don't know about. See, that's a lot. I think he's definitely played good. I just think got to give respect to Concanepo, like I said earlier. Actually, fun fact, because I remember the season when it happened, and I saw Markkanen when he was a rookie. But originally, Lauri Markkanen had the record of fastest to 100 threes made, and Concanepo just broke that by like 12 games faster. Like, no one had ever gotten under 40 games, and Concanepo got under 30 games. So I think just with like him, with Cooper Flagg, it would be hard to fully say that. But I mean, he definitely has been playing well, as well as you could even ask for him right now. I am a little upset still that he took Kawhi's number, and I'm never going to let it down because that's another person who needs his jersey retired. Kawhi needs his jersey retired. Whether Dylan Harper becomes a superstar on this team or not, recognize Kawhi the right way, San Antonio. Let it go. Let it go.
Dylan Harper's that guy, though. He's the future of the Spurs.
Hey, man. Kawhi was the already, though.
Bad exit.
But I mean, you get what I'm saying, though. Like, at least pay.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, but it's the relationship with the franchise is important when it comes to things like that.
I think time does heal a lot of wounds. We even saw it with Shaq with Orlando, and recently he got his retired. So it might take a while for that thing with Kawhi. It might take a while with Durant with OKC. But one way or another, recognize these greats in the right way. That is me giving a gift of wisdom to all. How about that?
That's very good. But yeah, that's all I got.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm glad we can make this work. And again, we're wishing you guys a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Do something fun. And there's a good chance we could be back on Friday. But we will keep you updated on what's all going on. And it should be fun. Have a great night, Christmas Eve as well night. Don't go a little bit too crazy either over the next couple week and a half. I know this is around the time that people start getting a little too frisky with the drinks and stuff, but but you know what I mean? We will see you guys though very soon. Once again, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching, and we're out. Peace.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, sir.